This is why we have to wait 5 minutes, or we like live.
And we're live right now. And we're
Nice.
live right now.
Welcome to the Beer Run, part of the BSnBEER family, the only Saints podcast with a two-drink minimum, and takes as bad as waiting for this long-ass off-season to end. I'm the
Oh,
California Cajun. With me, as
oh,
always, is
hold
Lil
on.
Dice.
I got the thing. Hold on.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. I say you gotta keep on your toes. Put toes, Harry.
There you go.
I'm the California Cajun. With me, as always, is Lil Dice. Sometimes we're professional, and sometimes... how you doing, brother?
Oh, all good, man. All
You
good.
have one job at the intro, is to push that button after
Look,
the joke.
I got a million jobs before the intro that make me forget about this one job during the intro. Okay.
Next time, just put it in post. It's fine.
No. Do it all live. Let's go.
F it, we'll do it live.
That's right, man. We're live on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a follow and a subscription. It's all free. It's part of your premium tier service here over at BSnBEER Media.
Yeah, we tried opening an OnlyFans and we got banned. So
Yep. So you know how we do on a beer run, man. We got 4 downs. We're gonna be talking about some draft. We're gonna be talking about some beer. We're gonna be talking Saints. Oh man, it's a good day. Let's get this thing started, man.
First down, Saints.
All right, Craig, we normally start with you, but since you have a lot to talk about with your beer, I'm going to start off.
I don't
with
have
this
nearly as
one.
much as you think, but please go ahead.
So today I have from Lost 40 Brewing Company Bourbon Love Honey.
Ooh.
It's the barrel aged Bach. This is from Arkansas, of course. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Lost 40 Brewing Company. I'm telling you. Yeah, nice little pop too. Okay, so what do you got today, Craig?
Well, I want to hear more about that beer because that sounds magnificent. But I have got a cacophony of wonderful beers, a plethora, if you will. My wife got back from Southern California yesterday. We're from there. And I love Louisiana with all my heart and soul, but the beer scene in California is the best in the world. Argue with your mama because they're wrong. San Diego specifically. But I am having a new beer I've never had before in my life. Coming highly recommended. This is called the Big Hazy Wolf. Hazy double IPA from Golden Road. Coincidentally, Big Hazy Wolf was my nickname in college. So we're going to go ahead and crack this open. We're going to try it live together, and I'm excited about it, and I hope all y'all are too. And it's important to taste good. It's important to have that alcohol content, but what really matters on this show is how does it sound? I mean, I think it sounds pretty good personally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me up in here, but that's fine.
Yeah, your California brew here, and what's the verdict so far?
That's upsettingly delicious. It's upsetting because there's only one of these in my stash that we brought back from California. This is a delightful beer. It's hoppy, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. I bet you the IBUs aren't too high.
Okay.
That is smooth. That is crisp, and it is 9%. And I would not have guessed it from that sip. That is a lovely beer.
Oh, wow.
Golden
9%, huh?
Road Brewing, Southern California. I do recommend it all you can. Golden Road has a few things that make it all the way out here. If you go to like a Total Wine or a Bevmo, if you see one, they're going to have some. And I definitely recommend it. If you see the Big Hazy Wolf, please send me one.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That's excellent.
There we go. Craig, once again, with the Southern California brews. Craig will tell you there is no other place to get
It's facts.
beer.
I lived in San Diego for a couple of years. We were right off the 78 freeway. They call it the Hops Highway because of all the breweries down there. It was magnificent
Oh,
beer scene. And look, I got the Cali at the front half of my name. I can't just be the Cajun. You come down here, Louisiana, everybody's Cajun. So the whole Cali thing sets me apart.
Yeah.
It's the uniqueness you're only going to get on BSnBEER.
yeah. You're right about that. You're right about that. Especially, all the people who've been moving away from California.
I'm with them. And some people are trying to go back.
There you go. There you go. Okay, man. Well, let's get into the show. Let's get started talking about some Saints here. So let's do this.
Second down.
It is second down, Craig, and we are going to start by talking about the top 10 NFC quarterbacks. That's right, NFC.
Oh, wait, we gonna do all 10 of them? Wow.
Yeah. I said we do it
I think
live.
I can name about 4 of them right now, so that's good.
And we can break this thing down, figure out who's going to be on the top of the list. I've got about 15 to 16 quarterbacks here on the little list. So let's get over to the little share screen here.
Now, what I want to know, and I'm sure what the fans want to know, is how many of those people do you have higher than Derek Carr? Because you're wrong, he's the best.
You have Derek Carr number 1?
No, of course I
Okay.
don't. But maybe by the end of this season, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. I've been having a couple of drinks. It's springtime. We feeling it, man. Let's have a good time with it. Let's just have a good time with it.
Let's work this thing together.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off, I guess we could start off from the top, right? I think let's start off with number 1 and go.
I know you like your visual aids, but remember that most of us listen to us on a podcast, so we gotta talk through this pretty good. All right, so S tier is Derek Carr, and then everybody else is F. Get the hell out of here.
So I would say number 1 on this list of NFC quarterbacks would have to be Jalen Hurts, right? He just went to the Super Bowl. He's got paid.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with it. I mean, there are going to be people who say he benefited from having a great run game and a great offensive line and a lot of weapons, and all that's true. But yeah, you can't take his accomplishments out. Yeah, he's the guy right now, right?
Yeah.
At least in the NFC.
In the NFC. Okay.
Having said that, he just lost the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl hangover curse, or whatever you want to call it, for runners-up in the Super Bowl is brutal. So they are going to fade away. They have the most talented roster in the NFC, and they're going to fall apart. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Can't wait.
So if Jalen Hurts is number 1 in NFC, who's number 2 here? I'm looking at Dak Prescott being number 2.
Okay, so we're going to argue on this one because I think Kirk Cousins is probably number 2. I think he's better than you guys do. I'm not sure why I think he's good. Maybe I just keep seeing him beat us, or I keep being adjacent to him beating us. But I don't know. I always look at the quarterback landscape and go, "Oh man, it'd be fucking cool if we had a Kirk Cousins." But I could see going with Dak Prescott there. But I think Prescott and Cousins are kind of in that conversation with each other.
All right. So we can go with Dak Prescott number 2 then.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Cool.
Now I know how you feel about particular kinds of quarterbacks, and both 1 and 2 are the kinds that you don't normally go with. So
yeah, he doesn't have enough moxie, like I typically like in my quarterbacks. But hey,
he's not a pocket passer. He's not a coach's kid. Not that first in last out guy.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, gotcha.
Okay, so now here, I would argue Matthew Stafford for number 3. What do you think? He's the guy that won the Super Bowl.
All right, so this is tough. Matthew Stafford, I think over the course of his career, was really good and often underrated because of the teams he was carrying. Except for when he had Calvin Johnson to just lob it up to, whatever. Man, with the way we run our offense and what I think our O-line should be, I kind of feel like Derek Carr is the next best quarterback. He's in this conversation. I honestly think he's a top 5 NFC quarterback and maybe number 4. My vote is for Derek Carr because I think he's going to kill it.
Okay, so Derek Carr. I would say Stafford. So I guess we'll just split the difference here. We'll go Derek Carr 3, and then we'll go Stafford 4. How about that?
That's probably fair. I'm also higher on Fields than a lot of people are, but I think Carr and Stafford. Man, Stafford's kind of fallen apart. I don't even know if he's 4. And over the course of his career, he's been good, but man,
I'm assuming the back is going to be good.
I'm not. His arm was shot before he got his back hurt.
Okay.
Sometimes quarterbacks just fall off a cliff, man. Not everybody just slowly. Like, look at Breeze. His arm fell off in a hurry, but he was a good, smart enough, accurate enough quarterback to still still
Yeah.
have like a second part of his career.
I
You know,
think
when he
Brady was the
couldn't
only
throw.
exception.
Yeah, Brady was very much a slow kind of gradual. You know, most guys hit a wall and drop. Breeze hit a
Yeah.
wall, dropped, and then was able to do a different thing and still be good.
Yeah.
I think Stafford's fallen apart. I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if he's objectively terrible this year.
Ooh. All right. All right.
And I
So
think the
now,
Rams are going to be objectively terrible this year
well, I think the Rams for sure are going to be terrible because
because of the Rams.
picks and stuff. So there you go. All right. Number 5. Over here, this is where I start kind of debating between Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins.
Well, if we go off last year, it's Smith. Period. And if you don't,
Wow.
I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a good runner, and I think he's got a lot of potential. I could see him up in that conversation.
Okay.
Man, this is gonna get real boring if we do all 10. Let's do. Are we at number 5? Let's do a top
Yeah.
5.
Well,
We're gonna do a
number
top
5.
5. We got to keep the people interested. And this is a Saints podcast. How many people are gonna have us arguing about Kyler Murray and Justin Fields in 5 minutes? Come on now.
So
We're doing this
who
live, so
gets
we
this
can't just
5?
edit all the dead air out.
Who gets this 5 spot?
Man, I feel like it's Geno Smith. I think he had a good enough year last year. I think he's in a good position. The Seahawks are ascending again. They've got a lot of good rookies. They've got some
He's got
young
2 good wide
tackles.
receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got good wide receivers. He's got good young offensive talent on the offensive line. I think they have 2 rookie tackles that both played well last year. Seahawks, I think they're going in the right direction offensively.
But this is a 1-year thing. What if this was just a 1-year wonder? I got my contract now, and that's it.
Well, Derek Carr is going to throw for 6,000 yards and win the Super Bowl. But other than Derek Carr, yeah, I still think it's Smith. I'm looking at the guys that are left on here,
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't think any of them are striking any fear in my heart. Look at it this way. Say you got to bet on. Okay, you're a fantasy guy. You got to play the Saints defense this week in fantasy, and they have to be playing one of these quarterbacks. Which one do you want them to? Which one would you rather them not play? And of the guys on that list, I would not want to play Jones, and because we don't agree on that, I would say Smith.
I mean, well, fantasy, I wouldn't want to play Fields because Fields was
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
one of the top scoring quarterbacks. So that would be my guy there. So, okay, well, you're going with Smith. I'm going with, bro, seriously, Geno Smith, top 5 quarterback in the NFC?
I mean, if you're looking at it right now, like, do you remember how good he was last year? He was good last year.
All right. Okay.
I mean, but obviously, Derek Carr is the best in the world, and everyone should just bow down to the cult of Carr.
Okay. So the top 5 then is Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Man, you
Greg.
must hate this list. It's 3 out of 5 quarterbacks that you do not like. You're anti 3/5 of that list. It's amazing.
Yeah,
For
be
folks,
sure.
every show is somebody's first show. So for those of you who are not up to speed, Dale hates black quarterbacks with a passion, and I don't understand it. I'm not here for it. I'm just saying that's the facts of the situation. And
Oh man, it's so terrible. So terrible.
he also hates drafting LSU players.
Well, you know that's definitely false right there. All right. Well, let's move on to the next down here.
Third down for what?
Should the Saints continue their aggressive draft strategy?
Yes, let's go to 4th down. Yes, next question.
So I have a serious problem with the aggressive draft strategy. And I believe this is one of the biggest reasons we have undrafted rookie free agents make the team every year because we aren't supplementing the roster correctly in the draft and getting guys.
So
And
you
so,
don't want to sign guys like Rashid Shaheed.
What do you mean? Of
He
course,
was a UDFA. So if
I
you
want
don't want
to
to
find
draft
the
UD,
best
if you don't want UDFAs
UDFAs,
on the
of
team,
course.
well, I'm just saying he was a UDFA. If you don't want UDFAs, just say so. I mean, I remember Shai Tuttle was a pretty good UDFA. Pierre Thomas was a pretty good UDFA. You don't like any of those guys? That's funny. You'd rather draft some sixth round guy from Mississippi State because he was in the SEC than take a flyer on somebody. Look, the Saints' plan is to trade up and get their guy. Period. At the end, they believe that it is better to have a few elite players and fill in the back of your roster however you can than to just get 100 third round pick type guys. None of them will be great. None of them will win you the big game, but none of them will probably lose it for you either. So the strategy is kind of high risk, high reward, or I'm a coward and I want 35 third round picks like some kind of chocolate fruit beer swilling son of a bitch.
No, it's not like I want a million third-round picks or anything like that, but
Oh, a million? No, I would take a million third round picks for sure. I mean, your
I
chances of
want
hitting that with a million picks would be great.
I want us to draft, um, guys that we, of course, we identify as can fit into our system, have that athletic ability, and also have the stats from college to show that they actually produced on the field, and it's not
But
all athletic ability.
but if you're just sitting back and hoping they fall to you, that's how Patrick Mahomes goes a pick ahead of you. That's how we missed him by a pick.
Mhm.
And that's how you do it. You miss a guy by a pick because you're like, well, I'm not going to trade up and give up a third round pick. I'm not going to, gamble on this. You have to. Because if you don't, you end up with glaring holes that are so bad that now you're moving up and using 2 first round picks to get a defensive end that never develops. Not going to say any names.
Well,
I'm
I
sure we
mean
can all think of somebody.
but that's my problem right there. We move up for these players that typically don't develop, like the Davenports,
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't say Davenport.
I said Davenport,
I don't. I don't want Dave to cancel our show.
and I said Peyton
Dave's gonna come out
Turner.
of retirement just to cancel our show.
I said those names because I mean they hadn't turned out to be this world changing kind of player. Like when you draft up, I mean I'm sorry, trade up to try to get these guys. To me, I'm expecting them to be that difference maker, that guy that
Studs.
you're circling
And I think
on
they
that
should be.
defensive line or whatever.
I don't think we're actually disagreeing, which is probably bad for radio. Because I think if you're gonna trade up and be aggressive, it has to be for Olave. You know what I mean? It has to be for a guy that you know is gonna hit. And I think that's because when they miss on these guys, they didn't expect Davenport to miss. They thought he was going to be a stud, and then he had showed flashes of being that guy, and he could never really put it together.
Mhm.
But like last year, we traded into the first round again because we expected to be a better team this year, and if we hadn't been ravaged by injuries, I think we would have been. We got who should be our left tackle for a decade, and we got a stud receiver, and I think Olave is going to be really good, uh, particularly if we can get a guy like Michael Thomas on the field for more than 5 games to draw some safeties. Those are two good solid picks, and I don't think if they end up both being Pro Bowl players at some point in their career, I don't think you can argue that it's a bad move to go up and get them both. Honestly,
Okay. Okay.
what's the argument though? If they both end up being good players and you picked them both in 22
Right.
instead of one in 22 and a different good player in 23, like what's the argument? You're still adding 2 good players. They were just in the same year. And with the Sean Payton thing, we didn't actually even lose a first round pick out of it. Like we got a worse first round pick, but we didn't lose one.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Have I been drinking too much? Probably all of those things.
Yeah. Look, it's two different transactions.
Mhm.
Obtaining Olave and everything. I mean, that was its own separate
Right.
transaction, but um, yeah, I would say last year it worked out because Olave was a pretty successful wide receiver, somebody that they did what we expected them to do. Put it that way.
He's got to gain some weight. The early fumbles and drops, he's got to beef up a little bit. But you know what? I think Michael Thomas getting hurt so early didn't do him any favors because he was a player who was going to benefit as being a number 2, taking more of the deep routes with a solid 1, taking the first downs, the touchdowns, that kind of thing. And you saw that in week 1 and week 2. And I think his season got a little. He might have got more targets, sure, but I think his season was less what we envisioned him being because of injury.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're getting off topic. Off topic. Off topic. So you don't want to move up anymore. You'd
Right.
rather stockpile picks.
Not saying stockpile picks, but if we take all the picks, actually draft players, all the picks that we have, I'll be happy.
Okay, here's the
That's what I'm
question.
saying.
What are the chances we pick at 29 this year?
I would say less than 10%. Just being realistic.
Goose egg, baby. There's no way. My bet is if do we cross pick 15? Do we go up higher than 15? That's the real question for me. Because there's no
I think there's
29.
no chance in hell that's going to happen.
I think there's some good players to be had at 29.
Yeah.
But I think the Saints and you may disagree with this, and I'm not saying that I agree with it either. The Saints might think that they're closer to being contenders than we do. And if they think they're a pass rush away, they're gonna go get one. Period. Even if
Okay,
it's
and
next
so
year's assets.
and so that is what I absolutely disagree with, because we are not
And
two
that
players away.
might end up being another Davenport, but it might end up being a stud. So if they think they're a pass rusher away, they're gonna go get one. And
Yeah.
how high do they have to go to get that guy is anyone's guess. But I think they might do it.
Yeah, to me, you have to learn your lesson. You were that aggressive last year, and that didn't pan out. So let's be a little bit more conservative.
Well, last year was kind of a unicorn, man. Our quarterback got hurt twice,
Hey,
basically.
Listen, this happens every year. At some
We played
point,
the whole season basically with a backup quarterback, and we were still a game out of the playoffs. So
and
I mean,
we
it's
said
hard
this,
to say
this
last
the
year
year
was.
before too, though. Like all the injuries.
Yeah, but we had injuries the year before as well.
Exactly. So let's expect injuries.
Well, they did have a new report come out about the probability of injury on turf fields is astronomically higher.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna change that because
I mean that could be something that we need to look into to make our injury situation a little bit better. Because
it's an indoor stadium, man. If you have an indoor stadium that you wheel real grass to, it'll be like that horrible field in Arizona that's just chopped up, disgusting by the second quarter. You see that every game last year, just slipping, falling, twisting ankles. There's no good answer for an indoor stadium.
NFL makes a lot of money to figure out how to grow grass indoors.
But they don't care about player safety. You know that they don't.
You're absolutely right. That's it. They don't care.
If they cared about player safety, this entire league would be different. There would be no Thursday games. There'd be no Monday games. Everyone would play at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I mean, they don't give a goddamn about player safety. Come on, man.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend an extra penny on it unless they think it raises the bottom line. They don't give a damn about any of it. The NFL is corrupt and crooked. It's the FIFA of the U.S., and I only support them because I am too invested in the Saints to quit. That's it.
There you go.
What if we could?
They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
There we go. 4th down, Craig. We're doing a mock draft. Let's fire up.
And we're gonna be doing this live together. Okay, Here's our courtesy of PFF because I am poor and this is the one that I can afford.
It's good.
We're gonna do the first 3 rounds together.
Yes.
There it is. And I say first 3 rounds. We may not pick 3 times in said rounds. Now is this what we would do in the situation, or is this what we think the Saints will do?
Yeah, let's do what we think the Saints will do. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So bring the speed down so we have time to make some trades. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and enter this draft. Let's go, New Orleans Saints. Who dat? Welcome to the 2023 NFL Draft. All right, the Panthers are on the clock. And the speed's way down. Okay, so I think we're trading into, say, the 20th. So let's see. We want a pass rusher. These guys... The Bucks don't need one. The Lions need an interior guy. Look, Steelers don't need any defensive line. They're at 17. So the draft has started. We're going to pause and after a trade. We want to go after the 17th overall pick for the Steelers.
Okay.
Because I think that's what's going to happen. Because everyone behind the Steelers, they all need defensive linemen.
Okay. AFC?
So I'm going to try to give them the 115th. They don't want it. How about the 71st? All right, so that's 62%. So they like it, but maybe we can get a little bit back. Maybe we get 120. Maybe we get 240. Okay. So we're gonna trade the number 29 overall pick and our third round pick to get into the top 20, get number 17. And I can't offer the trade because we're on the free version. So we're gonna resume and pretend the Saints would have done that and turn the speed up as much as we can. Nope, we're not doing it. Go ahead and join our Patreon if you want to do this. Okay, so we
There you
have
go.
some options here. I like the edge rusher from Kansas State. And all right. Anyone who knows me, I love this running back from Alabama. I love Gibbs. I think he is going to be a stud. To me, he's the closest thing to Alvin Kamara coming out of college. Dale, what are you doing here?
There's no chance in hell the Saints are taking a running back in the first round.
I don't think so either, but God, I like him. So how do you feel about the two edge rushers here? Do you want to reach a little bit for a Washington or a Smith?
Okay, I could actually see the Saints reaching for that guy Tyree Wilson, that edge rusher from Texas Tech, because it's I'm not gonna say it's a small school, but
I mean, he's ranked 28th. His average draft position is 12. We're not really reaching. He kind of fell to us. But you know what? If you like him, I like him. He plays edge.
yeah,
And
what I think
you
they
know
would
the
do.
great thing is we're up really quick, and there's still some guys right here. Look at this. Brian Barisi, who a lot of people think might be the number 29 overall pick to the Saints. He is still there. He's an interior guy.
So
I
he's
know
there
who
at
I want. I can't imagine we go back-to-back D-line picks, but that's who I want. Oh, Hendon Hooker is there for guys who are like the high potential stuff. Some good running backs are here. Zach, I can't pronounce your name, from UCLA is
Charbonnet.
there. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, sure. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, that guy from Northwestern, the tackle from Northwestern, still there?
The edge guy? I don't think we have
Oh,
a
he was the
tackle.
edge guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's the tackle from Northwestern went a while ago.
I'm about to say, okay.
All right. Do you think there's any chance they go back-to-back D linemen? Because if they do, Breesy's the guy.
Yeah, I honestly do.
Sold.
I think they do go back to back
Well,
defensive linemen.
I know I would be happy as hell with that, but we'll see how anybody else does. All right, so we got our last pick of the third round. So we're looking. There's some safeties here. It's a lot of corners. I know Ringo's is an SEC guy, so is Rush. I know how you feel about SEC defensive players.
Yes, I love them.
We could reach a little bit and get a guard. I know a lot of people want some interior line help. Chandler Zavala from North Carolina State is up here, which I
So
don't
what
think
do
I
you
even
think?
knew that was in place.
What do you think about the Saints going offense here and looking
Maybe a
at?
running back, maybe from Tulane, maybe to Tajay Spears. Is that
Yeah,
what we're thinking about?
maybe this guy Tajay Spears here.
You
in the
know, if
third.
he's sitting there and he's available, they're going to look at him and then they're going to pick Tank Bixby because they want to piss off the fans no matter what. I like Mingo in this pick a lot. I like Mingo right here. I think he's going to be a
receiver,
stud.
from Ole Miss. Yeah,
I think
I
he's
agree
going to
with
be
you.
a stud. But I mean, if I had the choice, I think Spears fits in this offense awesomely.
Yeah.
But man, if this, I'm going to tell you right now, if the Saints are sitting here and they're both there in the third round, they're going to go with Mingo.
Yeah, I can see them going wide receiver. You're right.
No, then that's what they did.
Yep.
All right. We got a few picks left. PFF is going to give us a grade. We're going to get graded together live, guys.
And they said we got an A. Is that right?
C's get degrees, and they didn't actually give us a grade because we didn't pay for the version. But just like my college career, I don't see a grade on here. It's probably not a good sign.
I'm pretty sure
they
an A.
think that Young goes first to Alabama, to Carolina. They think Jalen Carter comes off the board for the Texans. I could see that. Texans got 2 picks early, so I could see them. Oh man, if they go on D and tackle, that'd be fun.
Okay.
Cyrus Torrance. Oh, Cyrus the Virus went right before our pick. That'd have been fun. A lot of people want us to get Lucas Van Ness. I'm one of them.
Oh.
I don't think there's any chances there at 29. So, with the way this went, we got 2 D linemen and we got an offensive player, that could end up being pretty good. I think Mingo's going to be a good player. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I like it just because, we got that big need. I'm looking at our defensive line, man, and we need a lot of help. And that defense the run game, stopping the run game has been a staple for our defense for years. And we have to bolster that thing, and getting some guys on defensive line is going to be the way to fix that. So Cam Jordan's not going to be around forever, man.
Yeah.
We've got to get another defensive end, man. He's already on borrowed time as far as I'm concerned.
Look, I think Brian Breesy is a guy that might go at 29. So in our fake little magical land draft right here, getting him at 40 would be amazing.
Yeah. I'd be good with that. What about the other guy from Clemson? I think Wilson is his name. The other edge rusher.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I forget the name, but I think Underhill and those guys are sworn mortal enemies. They were talking about him recently.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we get out of this draft with 2 defensive linemen, one of which was in the first 2 picks, I'm happy because we need to put some bodies in there. All right, gun to your head, gun to your dick. Who do we draft at 29 if we draft at 29?
If we draft at 29, I think it's going to end up being the defensive lineman from Michigan.
Mazzie Smith?
Mazzie Smith, yeah.
I like him a lot.
That's what I think we're going to end up doing.
I like him a lot. I would be really happy with that. I would. I don't think that we are going to pick at 29, but if we did, I would love that pick. I think it's going to be that D lineman from Pittsburgh. I think he's falling a little bit because he's got those little tiny T-Rex arms that people make a big deal out of. And I think he might fall. Chauncey, is that his name?
Clancy, you talking about the guy from Pitt?
Clancy, yeah, the Pitt guy.
Uh-huh.
I think he might drop a little bit because of his little T-Rex arms. And as an intelligent nerd, I appreciate the T-Rex arms. If he falls, I think he's our guy. He's fast off the ball, and as an interior offensive lineman, I will tell you there is nothing more dangerous than a guy who comes off the ball faster than you. Period. The end. So I'm hopeful that we get a guy like that can be a difference maker because honestly, I'm one of those optimists, man. We're a pass rush away from being an elite defense, and you can win some games with that.
Okay. Well, hey, we're gonna be covering the draft. We're gonna do a live stream during the draft. We'll be talking about all the picks, our hopes and dreams, and when the Saints shatter them, we're gonna talk about that too.
And then paving the path to go marching into the Super Bowl. Woo-hoo. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Who that?
We need to come up with some kind of drinking game for the draft because
we're gonna ask
draft.
for advice. We're gonna ask everybody if you have some of this. We're gonna ask on Twitter. We're gonna have some polls and whatnot. We are gonna come up with a drinking game for the draft. I'm so excited about that. This is the best idea that Dale's ever had in his life.
Yeah, when the Saints move up, gotta take 2 shots or whatever,
2. I got bourbon sitting right there. Let's do this.
Yeah, do it, man. Let's do it.
Yes.
So, join us on that for sure, man. And we'll have a good time with this thing, man.
We're finally getting back to football, man. Pretty soon we're gonna be covering who does and doesn't practice in training camp because Michael Thomas practiced, and we're gonna have updates on who's making the team and who ain't. There's only one cut this year, so we're gonna have predictions and stuff. We're gonna have a lot of Saints stuff coming this year. Frenemies will be coming back. We're gonna have the Bigly podcast a couple more times before the season starts. So stick around to the BSnBEER network. Is that all we got for today?
Yeah, man. That is a wrap today, man.
We know you have a choice in podcasts and now YouTube shows, and we're amazed you chose us. For Little Dice, for the whole BSnBEER family, for Dave's loud ass truck, I've been the California Cajun. Have a beer. It's on us.
Who that?
Remember to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at BSnBEER Media. Or if you're old and want to write a strongly written letter, email us bsnbeer@icloud.com.